It's Pyram King, and I'm super excited to bring to you another guide of Curse of Strahd. Now, this one is the Berez Hex Crawl and Random Encounter. It's taken me quite a bit of time putting this one together. I had to play test it with my players. I tested it with some other people. I actually did a video with Bailey learning how to use two new modules we're going to be incorporating into this. That's Monk's Active Tile and also Quick Encounters. Those are included in here. In addition, DM Andy created some unique maps just for this. So this was a long time in coming, a lot of work for me to do. I am still, unfortunately, living in an Airbnb because I'm waiting for an apartment to move in. So I'm using a Wi-Fi hotspot and doing the best I can, but I'm really enjoying this. So I'm really excited to bring this one to you. Now, before we get started, a huge shout out to my Patreon members. We broke through 200 here in October. We have a really good and fun, active community on our Discord channel. Everybody's sharing stuff with one another, content and ideas. It's been truly inspirational, and it's your support, Patreon members, that is really helping me on this epic journey of Curse of Strahd, doing the PDF guides, the Foundry modules. It's just been hugely supportive. Now, this entire video, these detailed video guides I put together, I do also put them together in PDF guides. I update those guides. And also, if you don't want to do it yourself, everything you see here in this Foundry Adventure module is also available as a module to install. If you're interested in those PDF guides, interested in these modules, and becoming part of that community, you can join our Patreon channel. It's patreon.com/Pyram King. Now, there are a couple people I need to acknowledge that really made this module and this video guide come to life. First, it's DM Andy. DM Andy and I have been on this journey together, this Curse of Strahd journey together. We're both in the game, creating the game. He's creating these gorgeous battle maps, collaborating with me, asking me for some ideas, what I need, and then I'm putting the content together. It's been a great collaboration. If you like the maps that you see here in this video guide, they are also included in the Foundry module, but you can get them at his Patreon page. So if you're playing on another virtual tabletop system or at home and you love these maps, he has them in grid, non-grid, weather effects, night and day. Go check those out over there. His link to his Patreon page in the description down below. Now, normally I'd be running some James RPG Art Theater of the Mind maps. I am not in this, but I still put his link down below. I have him in everything that I do. His stuff is great. Go check him out. There's a link to his Patreon. Instead, I created 4 of my own Theater of the Mind maps. I hope they're not at the level and quality of James RPG art, but I think I helped bring that swamp to life. And of course, someone that doesn't get enough recognition, and that's Blair in the Scene Packer module. These videos, these guides, the entire Foundry modules would not exist if Blair wasn't instrumental in not only in his Scene Packer module, but in being active as a developer on our Patreon page, helping me putting some things together and solving some problems. So huge shout out to Blair. There's a link to Blair's Patreon down below. If you want to make your own adventure modules, if you're creative and want to have fun, sign up with Blair. Have him help you out. You'll have a great time. So with all that done, let's jump into this, because this is going to be an epic long guide. There's 6 battle maps, 4 Theater of the Mind maps, the top-down hex crawl, the mechanics of that, a lot to cover. I'm super excited. And you know me, there's no editing. I do this all in one shot, warts and all. Hopefully I don't make any mistakes. All right. So, and everything's time-stamped down below. I want to start off with talking about what is the Hex Crawl map and how this works. So, the Hex Crawl map, this is a map that we're looking at by DM Andy, and this represents the area of Berez, or a swamp, but in this case, Berez. And this is imagined like the 30,000-foot view looking down, maybe 10,000-foot view looking down from a plane. We've got the Lunar River flowing down through here. On the east side of Lunar River, you have the old stone circle. These are the ruins in here of Berez, the village that's been washed away by the flood and turned into a swamp. Now, I wanted to automate this because there's so many random encounters I want to put in here. And I recently made a video with Berez Wiki. I'll put a link down below, which he explained to me how to put this together with 2 modules that we're going to be showing you here and how all of this all works. So a huge shout out to Berez Wiki. He is the Zen master of Foundry. I do have a link to his YouTube channel and Patreon page in the description down below. So let's talk about what we're actually looking here on the map. You're going to see these tiles on here, and I have 2 colored tiles. They are marked invisible. They're of different sizes, and these tiles are active. What happens is as a token hits this tile, it pauses the game, stops the game, loads up one of the random maps, and Quick Encounter then loads up all of the encounters into this map. So that you as a DM don't need to do anything. The player just needs to step into one of these things. Now, these are invisible to the player. They're there visible to you with these 2 different icons, so you can tell which one's a swamp encounter, random encounter, and which one is a ruin random encounter. Now, you can go ahead and populate this map. I have them on here already, but you can move them around. They're just tiles. They can move around. You can also resize them. You want this whole area to be an area that would trigger an encounter, make it bigger. If you want it smaller, make it smaller. You can also hit Control-C, copy and make another one, and put this other one somewhere else. So you can really lay out the map for your quick encounters, random quick encounters the way you want to. The only difference between the ones with the tentacle on it and the ones that look like ruins is these will roll from the ruin swamp encounter. So we have the ruin encounters and we have the swamp encounters. They're different. They have different battle maps. Now there is one other encounter on that map and this map, which is Baba Lysaga's encounter tile. And the way this is going to work is after the players trigger one of these encounters and go through their encounter, their swamp or ruin encounter. When that's done, you're going to do a secret roll as the DM. You're going to roll a 1d6. I'll go ahead and do that right here. I'm just going to roll a 1d6. It's a 1. Now, if we zoom in on Baba Lysaga, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 hexagrams around the center one. One is telling me which direction, after a random encounter the players have, I'm going to move Baba Lysaga's swamp hut. As you know, in Curse of Strahd, her hut actually moves. So during this, her hut's moving as the players move. Now, it's only going to move if the players can trigger an encounter. You're going to roll a 1d6 and determine which direction it's either going to move in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only going to move one tile in one direction. So slowly her hut's crawling around the swamp. You're going to want to start it somewhere. You probably want to start it over. One area you might want to start over here is in the goat pens. I got another one here. I don't mean to have that. That's a tile I didn't mean to put on there. Put 2 of them on there. Okay, so you start her off near the goat pens, like right here in one of these tiles. And then each turn, you're going to move it. She can move away. She can actually move back to it. You just don't know. So that'd be a fun way to start the encounter. Now, how does the players work? How are the players going to interact with that map? So we know we got this map here. It's pretty big. We're using the Foundry Hex Grid overlay on this. We've got our active tiles populated around on the map. How are the players going to interact with it? So we're going to talk about the player token now. Now, I've included a player token. It's right here. And the player token, what you're going to do is in the tokens, you're going to see a player token here. It's this one here. It's called Party. You're going to right-click, and you're going to configure permissions. Now, I don't have any players right now, but one player, and you're going to select either you as the DM or the players can select it, or you can do it randomly, roll the die. One player is going to be the owner of this token, and all the other players are going to be observers of the token. So you're going to set all players observer, and then one of the players in the list is going to be the owner, and that's the one that's going to be able to move the token. This allows all the players to see the map, and one player is kind of like driving the party, right? The leader of the party. If you want to, you can take turns after each random encounter. So after a random encounter happens, you give another player a turn at driving the party token. So the way this works is the party token is only going to have a visibility of 1.5 hex. In fact, I have that printed out here in this guide. So you have the party token here. It has a visibility of 1.5 hex. One party is set to owner. Other players are set to observers. Set the fog of the war at the start of the encounter. So as the player is going to be moving through the map, right? Here we go. Party is going to be moving through the map here, right? You're going to start revealing the fog of war as a party starts moving through the map. You can see the fog of war is being revealed as a party moves through the map, right? Now, you as the DM, you're going to see everything, but the party, you can click on the party and see what the party sees. As the party gets to the ruins over here, you're going to see when it gets close to one of these ruins here, it's going to, oh, there's ruins here. You're going to see the tile. The party can't see the tile. You can see the tile, right? So the party's revealed this fog of war here, and then when the party clicks into one of the tile icons, right? Oh, it didn't draw from the table because I got to reset let me reset the table here. Do this again because I need to reset it. There we go. When the party, do a redo. Remember, this is all one shot. Let's hope I get it right. When the party hits the tile, the game pauses, stops. I think you hear a sound. And it's going to roll a random encounter. It says you stumble upon some ruins. This must be the ruins of Berez, and a random encounter is picked here. Now you're going to click on this random encounter, and you're going to hit cancel. You're going to click on this. You're going to hit run random encounter. You can hit yes. This is automatically going to load up, get your combat tracker loaded up with all the enemy. It's going to bring up the journal entry. It's going to talk a little bit about the journal. This one's called the Horror. I really like this one. It came up first. The Eye of Horror. It's a new creature that I've made. It tells you a little bit about what you're going to do as a DM. It's going to suck the souls. A little bit about some Barovian witches. There's also some pixies in this encounter. The pixies they won't fight you. If you attack them, they'll disappear. But they have some lore. They'll share some lore. There's some lore here. It includes, the mushroom people will come looking for the swamp spores. The mist hunts the swamp looking to drain life. The Barovian witches are about. They have an evil eye. It's very scary. The ruins are haunted. The scarecrows lurk among the ruins looking for those that do not belong, and they are hunting ravens. So these are some things that you can share to the party that the pixies tell you. So here's the map. Let's go ahead and load this up here and take a look. And then what you're going to do is the map's going to load for you. The players, the map's going to load with all the encounters. You can go ahead and hit load your players in, pull your players on. I would pull your players, figure out where you want to load them on the map. I would load the players down here, below the Witch's Eye on this one. You can put them over here if you want to, or you can put them over here. And then you're going to go ahead and activate the map, roll the encounter. Let me just turn the sound down so a little loud. There you go. Spooky swamp sound. Here we go. And let's talk about this particular encounter. The combat tracker is ready to go. You can add them. Then you can go ahead and roll initiative for everybody. Oh, damn, that was freaking loud. Roll initiative for everybody, and off you go. I'm going to just go ahead and end the encounter here. All right. So let's talk about what we have in this particular encounter. We're doing the Eye of Horror here. So we have some Barovian witches here, and as I mentioned before, what you're going to do, according to the guide, which is the horror here, is the Barovian witches are going to try to. You might want to describe what looks to be a young woman in distress. She's running up into this ruined tower. This is really one of the Barovian witches. It could be this one here. She's altered self, and you have her running up into the wizard's tower here. I would make her invisible so they don't actually see she's a Barovian witch. Maybe the players are thinking this woman that's running in desperation. She's running from these scarecrows down here. So let's talk about some of the things that we have up here. We're going to start with the big main encounter in here is the Barovian witches, and we also have the Eye of Horror here. This is a tower. You can see I've got some walls set up here. And there's this Eye of Horror that the witches have conjured. This is a new creature that I've created specifically for this. And the way this creature works is it's hovering in the air. It's got a lot of hit points. And it does two things. Here, let's go ahead and clear that out. It has a layer action. As long as it's in this tower over here, it has a layer action called Visions of Horror. And what you're going to do is the players have to roll a Constitution save. Any player it sees within 30 feet of it needs to roll and if it looks at it, that player's going to roll a Constitution save. It's a DC 15. If they fail to save, you're going to roll a 1d6, and that's going to determine what happens to the player. So the player sees this huge floating eye, and there's like hands pushing up against the eyeball inside. Players look at it, and they fail this, and they're going to have this vision of horror. You're going to roll how the player responds. So they're either going to fall down to the ground and begin crying, they become frightened and run away. They're going to charge. They're going to charge the Eye of Horror during their turn, and they're only going to use a melee weapon and attack it. They're going to grapple their nearest ally and plead with them to help them to end this horror. They're going to start screaming and dropping their weapons, or they're going to pass out, fall asleep, and have nightmares. This is a great thing for your players to role play this. You're going to roll the 1d6. One of these things are going to happen. Now, on the player's turn, they're going to roll a wisdom save, DC 15, in order to end this horror that's happening to them. So this is going to happen to them. You can either run it for just one turn, so they kind of miss their turn and this happens to them, or you can let it continue, and then they have to roll a wisdom check. Kind of leave that up to you. So you can either roll a wisdom save, or you can have this effect last just one turn. Anyway, so that's the Vision of Horror. That's a layer action. So that's happening on a initiative of 20. The next thing that the creature is going to do is it's going to try to stun with a stun of horror on the player. Now, the player, again, the player is going to have to roll a Constitution save of DC 12. If it fails, the player is stunned. It's paralyzed. The player is going to have to roll a saving throw, a Constitution saving throw during their turn. It's a DC 12 to not be stunned anymore. They're just going to be staring at this giant eye. They're not going to be able to respond. Now, the attack of the eye is what's called a horror drain. What's going to happen is it's going to look at a creature within 30 feet, and it's going to try to drain part of their soul. It's going to do 2d6 plus 2 worth of damage. The player is going to have to roll a wisdom saving throw, and this damage gets sucked out of them. This is damage that they take, and the Eye of Horror gains this in hit points. Your player cannot be healed from this until after a long rest, or if the Eye of Horror is destroyed, all those hit points that it's lost from the horror drain is automatically restored back to the player. Now, the Eye of Horror was conjured by these Barovian witches to drain the souls of creatures that it finds. And the Barovian witches kind of use this as kind of a scrying mechanism to look at the dreams and the thoughts. And they can the Barovian witches can peer into the eye and see the creatures that it's sucked the souls into, and see the dreams and the thoughts of those creatures. These Barovian witches serve Baba Lysaga, and they will tell Baba Lysaga anything that they learn from draining parts of the souls of the player. So every time it drains the soul, the player loses the hit points. The Eye of Horror gains those hit points, and then the Barovian witches can later read those dreams and thoughts of the players. It's a really cool creature. I really like it here. It's pretty much going to stay in its lair. Here, the horror vision is pretty cool. It has invisibility. You can only use it once. It needs a long rest. It's one action. So if the Eye of Horror feels like it's going down, you could run invisibility on it, and it just won't come back. It just will disappear permanently, and the players can't find it again. So it's going to be pretty self-protective. Now, there's 3 Barovian witches up here. These Barovian witches are not very strong, but they're going to harass the players, right? They've got, Ray of Frost, Ray of Sickness, Sleep. They're going to do whatever they can harassing the player because they want this Eye of Horror to kind of drain drain them. So I would see the witches kind of as a nuisance here. They've lured the player up into the old tower, the broken down ruined tower, and the Eye of Horror is kind of trying to drain the player of them. This is really, I think this is going to be really fun. Now, meanwhile, over here on the map, you're going to see these lighted areas, and that's where I have the pixies. The pixies are friendly. If the players seem hostile, act hostile to the pixie will just use their superior invisibility and they're gone. However, if the players are friendly to them, the pixies will share from that list of lore that I've told you about. And additionally, on this map, we have our scarecrows. The scarecrows are only going to be found on the ruined maps. We have 4 ruined battle maps in which the scarecrows will kind of be wandering the streets. If they see the player, they're going to go move in on the player. In the ruins, we have creatures that you're only going to find in the ruins, and that's going to be ghosts. We have ghosts, banshees, ghouls, and gas. So those are the types of creatures that you'll find in the actual ruins. Will be an assortment of these: ghosts, banshees, ghouls, and ghast. They'll be mixed and matched in there. We've got a couple in here right now. We've got a ghoul and we've got a ghost in here. In addition, in here we have this, which you will see here. This is called the Swamp Mist. This is a brand new creature that I created here. The Swamp Mist will hunt out life. It floats around through the swamp, and it will drain life. It has, you're going to need to do a DC Constitution save of 13. Otherwise, it's going to drain 2d6 plus 3 necrotic damage, and it regains 10 hit points, and the target's hit point maximum is reduced by that amount until a long rest. So this thing is going to kind of float around through the swamp and through the ruins, this swamp mist, kind of swamped ghost mist. I imagine that the swamp mist, believe, are the evil lost souls that once died in Berez. So that's kind of the legend about this mist, is it's really the lost souls, going around through Berez. The other item that you're going to see scattered in almost all of the maps are these here. These are called swamp spores. They do not move. The swamp spore is pretty interesting. It has one feature really only, and that's a sleep spore. It can only use this 3 times. The way the sleep spore works is if a player gets within 5 feet of it, it automatically activates, and this is how it works. Boom. It has a 20-foot radius. All these spores go out. Players have to roll a Constitution 18. Otherwise, they pass out. They fall asleep from the sleep spores. Sleep spores do not affect the ghost or the ghouls or the any of the creatures. Pretty much any creatures of the swamp. They will affect the witches, however, but they won't affect the scarecrows or the ghosts, ghouls, or anything like that. Now the spores immediately, it has an immediate effect. It's a reaction, and then the spores drift down into the swamp. It can do that up to 3 times. Now the players, somebody can go and wake up the player, or if the player is injured, takes damage, the player will wake up. So that's how the sleep spores work. And the sleep spores, while not deadly, if you get knocked out and all of a sudden the swamp mist sees you because it recognizes anything within 60 feet, it's going to come over there and start draining your life while you're asleep. Or there's some other creatures that are going to really take advantage that you're going to see of these sleep spores. So let's go ahead and clear off this map. We've got this. Oh, we also got a spider up here in here. What I wanted to do with each one of these encounters, and you can see we're going to go through all of them, is I wanted to have each counter be like a little slice of the swamp, a little story that's going on. In all of these encounters, you don't have to activate everything. And we'll talk about that as we go through each one of these encounters here. So let's go ahead and clean off this map. We're just hit delete, and I'm going to get rid of this sleep spore thing. And we're going to just do another one. So as you can see, you would go back to this. The players would move again and start moving around, and they could trigger another one. These areas only trigger once. They're set up to only trigger one time. So let's go through the rune encounters and then we'll do the swamp encounters here. So the next room encounter we have is the spooky place. And we'll go over here and show you the spooky space. The spooky place here is, I'm going to go ahead and activate this one. There we go. Is just going to be some ghosts, some banshees, a ghast lurking in the ruins, okay? So we have the mist of the swamp right over here. And again, we have a couple of pixies right here that you can talk to. We have our sleep spores, and in the two ruins here, I'll just show you the walls of the ruins, and we've got a bunch of places to hide. We have a ghost up here. Now I make the creatures invisible. They'll populate invisible, and the reason I do that, I make some of them visible, like the swamp mist is visible, the spores are visible. But the ghosts are invisible because I want you to determine if the players get close enough. Now, you're going to roll a combat encounter for all of them, but a lot of them are going to be invisible. And so, unless I would say a player gets close to them or you feel that the Banshee is seeing the player, once the Banshee goes in for the attack, it's going to pull these other ones in as well. And then I would make them visible at this point. So, when they're invisible, I would just maybe move them randomly, and then if the players are either engaged with them or see them, or if they see if the ghosts see the players, or they get close enough, then they'll trigger them in for attack. So we've got the Banshee here. It's typical D&D Banshee. We've got the Ghoul here, and we've got the mist here, the swamp mist with the spores. So this is another nice ruin encounter. I also include on each one of these encounters, you'll notice I've got a light in here that I put in here. I don't want just to use Fog of War. I think the light adds some atmosphere. It allows the players to see a little bit further through the swamp, maybe some things through the shadows. I think it adds a fun element to it. Okay, let's go ahead and delete all of these. We're on the next one. The next encounter that we have is the barrels. So we're going to click on this one and go ahead and run a quick encounter. This one is a Theater of the Mind. The player is going to, on this map, this is one of the Theater of the Mind maps I've made of the ruins. You can see here there's a glass wall. You're going to put your players down here at the bottom. And we have an active tile right here. This tile is an active tile. If the players click on it, they're going to roll. It's going to pause the game, and it's going to roll from the barrel here, and they're going to find something in the barrel. Let me go ahead and reset that. So if they clicked on it, it would just roll, and the players would find a shovel, and the players can take this standard shovel. So now it's up to you. What I've done in the Theater of the Mind encounters, where you're going to have another roll table because they find something, I'm going to allow the players to get one item instead of all of them. And this is fun because they can it'll randomly decide which item they find. Now, and I always have this as draw without replacement, so they can only find that item once. This is also a good opportunity. The players may want to rest. You've got a nice Theater of the Mind screen. You can do some role playing here. I've got a little bit of lighting to give it some atmosphere. If you're running that FX module, I would definitely have the fog and clouds sweeping through here. Let's go through the next encounter is the Gravestone. It's another Theater of the Mind encounter. So we're going to run a quick encounter here. Yep. Bring this up. And this is another one where the players are going to find a gravestone here. You're going to pull the players in along the bottom here of this Theater of the Mind map. And they see a gravestone over here, which is, again, clickable. It's going to populate. And the gravestone, you're going to say, hey, you find an old grave, and there's something next to the old gravestone. It's going to be one of these three items. Let's look at each one of the three items that we have here. The first one is an item that I've created. It is the Skull of Dead. Now, in a lot of these magic items, you're going to notice that I set the description to secret. The first thing I make sure is they can't identify what the item is, and then I make all of it secret because the player's got to attune to the item. Now, once the player attunes to this item, they're going to realize that they can animate the dead once every 24 hours, and they can also speak with the dead. So they can animate and speak with the dead once every 24 hours. So that's the Animate of the Dead spell that they automatically get to do. The problem is this skull is cursed. So once they animate the dead once with this, they don't know about the curse. Once they animate the dead one time, all of a sudden they're cursed. They can't get rid of this skull. They can only use remove curse spell to get rid of this. Each time they get into face danger, they're going to cast Animate the Dead. Every time they cast Animate the Dead successfully, they're going to lose 1d6 worth of hit points until the next long rest. So every time they get into combat, they're going to pull out the skull and they're going to try to animate the dead. If they're successful at it, they're going to lose 1d6 hit points. Now, the fluff or the theater that's going on here is the skull is draining life from you to animate a creature. It's draining 1d6 hit points from you to animate that creature. Now, you're going to cast a Wisdom save DC 10 to avoid casting Animate the Dead, but you're automatically going to try to cast it at the start of every combat encounter. You're going to try to cast it if you're able to cast it, and then all of a sudden you're going to roll a DC 10 to try to save. The only way to get rid of this is remove curse. Otherwise, you will not let this go of the skull. Every time you try to animate the dead, you're gonna suffer. Right. So the players aren't going to learn about that curse until the first time they do it. This is a really cool kind of freaky item to include in Curse of Strahd. The next item here we have is a spell book. If the players find this spell book, they can learn, they're going to realize there's 4 spells in here. They can learn one of each of these spells after 10 hours of study. It's Blade, Ward, Locate Creature, Unseen Servant, and Locate Object. And the last one here is Wand of Secrets. And if they find the Wand of Secrets, it's one of these 3 items. The wand has 3 charges. They can use this action charge to find a secret door or trap within 30 feet of them. Now, what I wanted to do with each one of these is create a theme. Obviously, it's a grave. You can deduce the grave is probably from some kind of wizard. There's a spell book, there's a wand, and there's this skull. And in this skull, it still possesses this kind of weird ability, probably left some sentience of the wizard that had died that can animate the dead. It could have been some wizard, it could have been some witch or something. So there's a little bit of a theme going on here that you can kind of role play as well with this cursed skull of the dead that can animate the dead. It's pretty fun theater of the mind encounter that you can run here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our thing, and we're going to go to the next one. The next one is an old chest, so we have an old chest one as well. We're going to run this one. It's going to bring up the map. And here we go. The map this is going to be the same map. You've got the old chest here. The old chest has got some really, really cool things in it. So again, players can roll on the old chest. It's got 4 items on it. You find an old chest that's been sitting there for a long time. You wonder what's in it. And I'm going to reset it. And there was one thing in there. It was missing in there. Oh, the stone. I guess I dragged it out. There it is. I'll put it back. And let me make this one and just update it. I accidentally deleted it, so let me fix that. There we go. So these are the 4 items that you're going to, one of these 4 items that you're going to find in the chest. Again, the players will click on it on the chest here, and it will roll from this roll table here. I have it already set for rolled once by me, so it can only roll from the player. So I'll roll it here. It'll roll from one of these items, and these items are, well, you know what? We'll just roll from it. Make this fun. Fun for me anyway. Okay, the figure of the Silver Raven. This is really cool. This is a figurine of a Silver Raven, and you can make this Silver Raven come to life up to 12 hours. So you have an actual Raven. Once the Raven has come to life, you can use Animal Messenger on this Raven. You need 12 days to pass before you can use the figurine of the Silver Raven. This fits really well within the Curse of Strahd themes, especially with the Martikov. So, and this is a great item. If you're in trouble in the swamp, you could get this Raven. You can tell the Raven, hey, go tell the Martikovs or the Were Ravens we're in trouble. Where are we? So this is a great kind of, get out of jail free, go get me some help kind of item here. I imagine that, this could have been a Martikov relic of the Were Ravens, Keeper of the Feathers relic. So you can put a little interesting story in there as well. Next item in there, we have a Sword of Fine Equity. What you're going to notice in my magical items, I leave the name of the items very nondescript because I don't want my players to know what this is. I want them to attune to it. I want them to explore it. If they know what it is, it's a magic sword +1, all the excitement's gone. So this is, a sword of fine quality. What is it? This sword, and again, the text here is hidden. It says you gain +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon while the sword is on your person. You also gain a +1 to your saving throws. This is a really lucky sword. If the sword is on your person, you can call on its luck, no action required, to re-roll 1 attack roll, ability check, or saving throw you dislike. You have to use that second roll. This property can only be used once per day. This is one of those really cool items. I can imagine you're like in some combat, and you just, you're the last one standing. You're trying to take down that creature, maybe that zombie. It's pretty bad attack roll. You get to re-roll it. Man, you roll a crit, you take it out, boom. It's I can see this as one of these items that's going to be one of those in the clutch. You're down in the clutch and you whip this thing out and you get that re-roll. So this is a cool one to get. I like this one, the Sword of Fine Quality. The next item you have here is the ointment. This ointment is really cool. You're going to roll a 1d4 +1 of doses. So you're going to have at least 2 to 5 doses of this thing. This dose, if you drink this, it's 2d8 +2 hit points healing. Plus, it's going to cure your disease and cease any poison that you have. So this is super powerful ointment. You rub it on your you've been bitten by that spider, you can rub it on there, get rid of the poison. You can drink it for hit points. This thing is like super magic ointment. Again, I kept everything in DM secret. I would just tell the players, it's a glass jar. There's some liquid in it. It looks like it contains, you can roll the X amount of doses. It smells faintly of aloe. Let them investigate it first before you just tell them what it is, right? Make them explore. Make them use some nature checks, some arcana checks, investigation checks. Give them some ability to figure these things out. The last one is pretty cool, creepy. It's just a stone with a symbol on it. It's just a flat gray, it seems to be a river rock of some stone, some ancient carving on it. Now, this is a stone that you can role play this how you want. Maybe they run a history check and they can realize what that symbol is. Oh, this is a stone of like great power and it'll give you a better ability. Technically, what it does is it's going to gain 1 advantage on an ability check of your choice. You can only use it once per day. But it's cursed. Don't tell the players it's cursed. In fact, if the players did an Arcana check or history check and they realized what it was, it's a magic powerful stone that can gain advantages on certain things that you do, and then you explain the mechanic, it gives you an advantage on 1 ability check of your choice. Don't tell the players it's cursed. Let the player use it the first time they go, and then don't even tell them that it's cursed. So this is how I'd roll with this one. They've discovered that it gives them enhances their ability and something that they try to do. You describe the flavor mechanic. You can actually go in here and do this. This is what I would do. I would make this part of it visible to them. Save it. Oh, there you go. Now they know they can use it only once a day. The first time they use it, right, they're going to be cursed. Do not tell them that they're cursed. Then when they do their next ability check, you go roll with disadvantage. You feel something awful from that stone that you're holding. Roll disadvantage on your ability check. They're going to roll disadvantage twice. Don't tell them how many times they're going to roll a disadvantage after. Just have them do it twice. Let them figure this out. Let them be frustrated by it. But they're cursed. Every time they throw the stone away, it teleports back to their pocket. They can't get rid of this stone, right? So if they don't use, they're going to get 2 disadvantages on 2 ability checks. If they don't use the stone again, then they won't suffer from it, but they're going to need to use remove curse to get rid of this. This is a really, really fun item to go ahead and play with your characters. Again, keep this stuff in DM secret so they don't know what's going on. Slowly reveal it to them. So these are the items they find in the chest. Again, a nice Theater of the Mind map here, created by me. Hope you liked it. There it is right there. A little place where your players can relax a little bit, do some fun role playing. Let's go to our next encounter. So that was the old chest. Ooh, out of phase. This is a good one. We're going to run this one here. Yes, this is going to bring up a new battle map. We got our combat tracker over here. And these are phase spiders. So in this one, we're in the ruins. We've got our mist down here, which you're familiar with, the swamp mist. It's going to move. It can locate anything living within 60 feet and move towards it. We've got some ghosts and some banshees hiding in here, but we got these 3 phase spiders. Now, these are D&D spiders. I added a little bit of light to them, so when you make them visible, you can see this kind of little light glow around them. Now, the way I would play these spiders, they have this feature that they can go to the ethereal jaunt. What I would do is I would just make them invisible. They can move 30 feet, and then I make them just show up next to a player on their next turn. Boof, and then they attack. I mean, it would just be, you know, and then they can go invisible and they go attack. I mean, and once you get 3 of these things going, I mean, you got 3 of these bad boys here, right? You got this cool nest up here. Oh my God, I grabbed everything. I didn't mean to grab everything. There we go. We got these 3 bad boys here. Look at these things. I mean, these phase spiders, they're not too, I mean, they're 32 hit points. They got 1 bite. But what is really cool is they can phase in and out. They're kind of, you know, I made them, you know, with the blue lighting on them, I made them kind of creepy. I think them popping up around your players, I mean, this could be great. You also have down here, whoops, I have down here, I've got one of the scarecrows down here kind of wandering through the ruins as well. The scarecrows are hunting the ravens, but if they see your players, they're going to go after your players. And again, I would leave kind of the ghosts, you know, just floating around in the ruins. Unless they see the player, they're not going to really go after the player. So let me just go ahead and clear this one out. There we go. Again, what's really cool is, you know, if I hit out of phase, I can hit run a counter. It just preloads up the map again with the counters, puts them back where they started. You can also go, hey, I want another banshee in here, or another mist. I can grab another mist and just drop it in here. I can grab another ghoul in here. So you can grab right from out of the journal entry of the encounter and populate your map, change it up based on your player size or the strength of your players. So you get a lot of leeway and customization with this. So let's go ahead and delete these. There you go. The map's cleared. We're going to run the next one here is the horror. We did that one already with the eye. So we're going to do the last one here is called Where Jackal. Where's Jackal? Where Jackal is not a full combat encounter. I didn't want to have them all combat counter, explorer counter. This one here is includes a creature called a Jackal. Now, in this one, the Jackal is lost. It's an orphan boy. He's run away. As he grew older, he was afraid. He's run away into the swamps of Berez, and he's been living among the ruins. When he spots the party, he's going to plead for help, but he's also afraid. Now, if the party attacks him, he'll try to defend himself or he'll run away. He just feels unsafe. He's just a poor orphan kid that didn't know that he has, you know, that were ability. He turns into a jackal. His name is Jack the Jackal, Jack the Were Jackal, Jackal. Now, in this particular combat encounter, he's right here. So he's hiding in these ruins. He's hiding from the ghost. He's kind of made this little area his home. There he is right there. There's Jack. And you can role play this how you want to. I mean, this is a great role playing thing. He doesn't know what he wants. If your players already know the Martikov family or perhaps the werewolves, they can say, hey, we know some werewolves or we know some were-ravens. We can take you to them. We can help you. You can rescue them. He can maybe join your party until you leave the swamp. Really fun character to roleplay. In fact, I'm thinking about in the future when I do the module, the orphanage, tying in the Jackal into that storyline thread, and he runs away to the Barovian swamps, and you need to go find him and rescue him. So he's in here. You can play with him. He's great. We've got our pixies over here. Again, the pixies are going to share that lore with you. DM Andy was really nice enough to put in some lights in this maps. I lit up this area. Wherever you see these lights are where the pixies are going to be. So I added that in there, the lighting with the pixie. That's a big thanks. Hats off to DM Andy for doing it. We've got our swamp spores again here. And you know how those swamp spores work. I mean, you get close to these things within 5 feet, and that swamp spore is going to fire off that, boom, that swamp spore thing, and it's going to nail everybody. You're going to have to roll constitution checks. And of course, this swamp mist is going to come over there and kind of try to drain their life. Again, that swamp mist, those are the lost souls of the evil people that lived in Barovia, and it's just searching around to suck them out. I almost look at the swamp mist as another form of kind of ghost, kind of undead ghost. So that's the Jackal in the ruins. I hope you really like this one. I do. I like the Jackal character. It gives the players an opportunity to role play, try to get them out there, get them out of there alive. The poor Jack, poor orphan Jack, right? Okay, so we've done all the ruins encounters. That gets us to the swamp encounter. So we're going to go back to the hex map over here. Activate that. We're back in the hex map, and we're with our players. Now the hex map roll table is a little bit different, and I'm going to tell you why. So the hex map swamp encounter roll table has not only the swamp encounters in it, which we're going to go through, it also has party getting lost, and it has a swamp obstruction table in there. So I'm going to do those first. I'm going to lock these up. And in fact, I'm gonna just do the party getting lost. I'm going to show you how that works here. So if the party runs into a swamp, we've been moving around, and they run into a swamp hex, they're going to hit this noise, and it's going to come up. It says the party's lost. So let's go through how this lost mechanic actually works, and I have that here in our Hex Crawl guide. This is really important to follow because you have to follow this exactly in order. So we're actually going to get the party lost here. And what does lost mean in a hex crawl? Well, you can see they've revealed this part of the map, right? If we look at it, they've got this fog of war. They've revealed it. And now it says they're lost. The first thing they're going to have to do, according to this here, is you're going to roll a DC check. The DC check is always going to be random. It's going to be between 11 to 20. It's a 1d10 plus 10, so it's a 15. Only one player in your party is going to be elected to roll a survival check. If they fail the DC check of 15, the party is lost. So this is how you're going to say, okay, you guys are lost. This is how it's going to happen. Remember, all the members of your party playing the game are observer. One person is the mover of the token. The game is paused at this point. You're going to click invisible. As soon as you click invisible, the players cannot see the token, but they can see the exposed fog of war that they have. The next thing you're going to do is in secret. You're going to make sure this is set to secret. You're going to roll a 1d6 of 5. Now, let's explain how this works. Now, you notice around your hex, you've got 6 hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just rolled a 5 over here. 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The party is you're going to move the party token in this direction. How far in this direction? You're going to roll a 1d4 secretly, 2 squares. So this is secret. You're going to move the party token 2 squares in that direction. 1, 2, right? So you remember we were here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this hex, and then you're going to move it 1, 2. Now it's in this hex. The next thing you're going to do after you've moved it while it's invisible, remember the token's invisible, you're going to reset the Fog of War. Reset the Fog of War. And then you're going to click on the token and you're going to make it visible. And so this is what's going to happen to the party. All their Fog of War is going to disappear, and they're going to be somewhere slightly different on the map. They don't know where their map is. This is a huge map. They've gotten lost. You've actually, in Foundry, in the Hex Max, literally made them lost. This is awesome. It works really well. I think this is a really simple, again, the rules are really quick, really easy. The players are going to roll, you're going to roll a random DC, determines how lost they are. It can be between 11 and 20. One player is going to roll a survival check. If they fail, the steps are pretty easy here. The first thing you're going to do, make the token invisible. 1d6, determine which hex direction. And then 1d4, how far in that direction. Move the token, reset Fog of War, then make the token visible again. Boom. This thing is awesome. And the party begins exploring again. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we covered that crystal clearly. So we've got that covered here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the obstruction table. Before we do these swamp encounters up here, we have a nested table called swamp obstruction. This only happens on the hex map level. So we're just going to roll directly from this map itself. We're going to have to reset it. I'm going to turn off the party getting lost because we've already done it. There's 4 other things that can happen to the party, and we're going to go through those 4 things as well. And I'm going to bring up the rules on how each one of those things work. So if the players trigger one of the swamp tiles, this could happen. Okay, an old cypress tree falls. The players are going to roll a dex save to see if they've gotten hit. So here are the instructions again, right here. So we have the cypress tree falling. You're going to roll over here. Again, the DC is set between 11 to 20, so you're going to roll that. Here's the DC. Players are going to have to roll a DC check, dexterity check, and beat a 15 or higher to avoid getting hit by the tree. If they get hit by the tree, they're going to fall prone, and they're going to each take 6 damage. Here, you're going to roll the damage here. Now you're going to determine where that tree landed and blocked the path of the party. And you're going to do that by rolling 1d6. And that determines that the party is going to be blocked in hex number 2. So let's check that out. So remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In hex 2, you're going to take a terrain wall, and you're just going to draw it right here through hex number 2. You can just draw it wherever you want to. I already drew one in here. Let's delete that one. So the party cannot go through hex number 2. You've actually made hex number 2. You can draw it right through the middle of it, and they can't go through it or wherever. So hex 2, they can't go through. Okay? And so that's that. So now the party wants to try to get through here. They can't move through this hex, right? They can only move back out of it. That's where the tree fell, and they can't go in that direction. They're stuck. Let's go to the next thing on the obstruction encounter. We're going to roll that, find out what we have. We have the pesky flies and ticks and other bugs. Again, here is in the guide. You have that right here. So the pest, you're going to roll again a DC. I'm going to just move this to the top, get rid of this stuff so you can see how it's happening. You don't need to roll this in secret. I should just make this observable to reveal to all the players. You're going to roll it's a 19. That's pretty high. So again, I love having all the DC checks random between 11 and 20. The players, if they fail the con save, each player is going to get bit by bugs. Each player now is going to take 5 damage from pesky bugs. All right. That's awesome. We're going to do another one here. Let's go ahead and just clean up the chat log to do that. We got 2 more. Another possibility here is quicksand. This is a dangerous one here. The way the quicksand works, you're going to randomly select a player. You can do this by having them rolling dice or drawing straws or however you want to do it. Or you can have the lowest or highest dexterity or have them roll something. In the quicksand, you're going to roll, a 20. They're going to have to must make a dexterity save to escape from the quicksand. Now, the party may help using rope or whatever items they feel necessary to give the player advantage. So you want to role play this out. Player's slipping in the quicksand, he's sliding in the quicksand, he's struggling. What are the parties going to do? I might run this as a timer. You got 10 seconds to think, because this guy's, his head's going to go under, he's going to be going sick. You know, players going to go, we're going to grab a rope, we're going to throw the rope to him and hold on to the rope. Okay, great. Anything the players that you feel is going to help that player get out of the quicksand, you can allow the player to roll advantage. Now, if the player fails on his roll, he's going to lose one random item he's carrying on his inventory. Now, what I would do, and this is up to you, depending on how severe you want to make it, you can number some items in his inventory, maybe 6 items or 4 items or 8 items, however, which ones you want to number. I would definitely include one of the weapons that he has. You might want to include, you know, depending on how you want to be with your players. I like to keep it pure random. They might have a super weapon on them. It's going to be in there, right? They failed to save. You know, we don't always get to pick and choose. So pick 6 items in there, and then you're going to roll a 1d6 or 1d8 or 1d10, whatever items you chose. That item's gone, lost forever. If they fail the roll, it's been sucked down deep into the quicksand. So this is a mechanic where the players are trying to get out. They're trying to get this player out. Every time that he's getting out and he's failing, he's losing something to the quicksand. DC 20 is going to be a high number to roll. He's going to get advantage on it with the players helping out, but this could be epic. It could be an epic struggle where he loses a lot of items. But going through the swamp shouldn't be safe, right? The players are going to lose stuff. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get sick. They're going to get disease, poison, etc. Okay, we've got one more thing here. Let's clear this out for the obstacles. These all happen, again, right on the hex map itself. We're going to roll this one up, and we've got mud. What happens with mud is mud slows all the players down. The mud's getting in their boots. It's getting in their armor. It's getting on their gear. They're going to roll a disadvantage on any dexterity saves that they have. In fact, I would even have them roll dexterity checks. Any dexterity, I would have them roll a disadvantage until they take a short rest, start cleaning off all this mud out of their gear and out of their boots and out of their armor. In fact, you could use one of those Theater of the Mind maps to say, hey, you know, we just need a short rest here. We need to start cleaning ourselves up here. So those are the swamp obstacles the players can have. We've got getting lost, quicksand, mud, the cypress tree falling over, and the pesky bugs in here. The rest of the swamp encounter table is going to be, and I'm going to just reset this, are going to be a bunch of encounters. We've got some Theater of the Mind encounters and combat encounters. Instead of rolling those, I'm just going to bring them up right here out of the table. So the first one we have, boy, I really like this first one. This is a creature that I created for this called the Berez Lilly. So we're going to run the quick encounter. We're going to swip over that map, get that map loaded up, and talk about it. So the Berez Lilly is a carnivore plant. It has this vines that tries to eat the creatures. The swamp also contains swamp spores. So we're going to go through this. There's some text here to explain it to you. Let's take a look at this here, because there's several things going on at once on here. So I would put the players in the center of the map, and you've got this Berez Lilly. And before we talk about the Berez Lilly, let's take a look at, we've got these swamp spores, and there's quite a few of those. And you know these swamp spores, when you get close, 5 feet, they're going to radiate out those sleep spores, right? Right next to those swamp spores, and one of the things that likes to be around the swamp spores, right? And I really like making these encounters kind of synergistic. I mean, all these creatures should be synergistic with one another, and you're going to see how this plays out, because this is a very synergistic encounter in the swamp. These things are all living together in this kind of harmonious way. So the swamp spores are putting things to sleep. You've got, next to the swamp spores, you've got these violet funguses. Right? Look at them. They're all kind of lit up. They move very slowly. Swamp spores don't move, but these violet funguses do. And the violet fungus love the swamp spore because the swamp spore put creatures to sleep. So the violet fungus can come up and start feeding on it. It's going to do this, you know, this rotting touch and start feeding. The fungus is going to start feeding off of the off the Swamp Spore. And it's going to do multiple attacks. It's going to do 1d4 rotting attacks, feeding off of the creature, right? That's been put to sleep by the Swamp Spore. So there's a synergy there between the Swamp Spore and the Violent Fungus. Now there's another thing that's going on here, is up in the upper right-hand corner of the map, you have what I call the Mushroom People. Remember, the Pixies warn you, part of their lore is the Mushroom People. The Mushroom People are really a D&D creature. I got some little lighting animation. They're myconids. And what I have as part of my little story theme is they go and they hunt. They're not affected at all by the swamp spores. Swamp spores won't put them to sleep. They go out there and they collect them. They go out there and collect them, bring them home, and eat them. And so they're out there doing their swamp spore hunt. Now we've got the adult. The adult, has pacifying spores and some of these attacks that it can do. And then they've got their big sovereign one, which is kind of, I just look at it as kind of the leader of the baby swamp spores. I'm kind of more looking at this in my role playing as kind of a parent swamp spore with some baby ones to go collect some, mushrooms to go collect some of the swamp spores. This one has a whole bunch of stuff. It has hallucinating spores on it, animating spores. It can do some multi-attacks. Again, they're just moving. So what I imagine happening is these guys are moving to go collect a swamp spore. And as they're coming over here to collect this one, they're going to see your party over here, and they're not going to like your party because they're going to think your party is trying to steal their swamp spores, right? So you've got this combat encounter that's slowly brewing up. Now you can see I've done a lot of hidden areas, so there's some hidden spores going to be hiding that the players can actually trigger and step on behind a log or something. So the players aren't going to see these guys until they get about here. Meanwhile, you have this creature. It's called the Berez Lilly, and we're going to take a look at this. This is a creature that I created for this. And I looked at the picture. The picture kind of gave me a bunch of ideas for this, right? So this is, imagine like a giant pitcher plant. And you've got these vines with flowers on the end of them. And the vines are going to try to grasp you and pull you in and swallow you into the pitcher plant. And the way a real pitcher plant works is when a bug or fly falls into it, there's liquid inside the pitcher plant that slowly dissolves the creature in it. So that's what this is. This is a giant pitcher plant. It's called a Berez Lilly because on the end of the tendrils are these yellow lilies that have a little bit of the swamp spore sleep in it. So it's only a little 5-foot radius. Now this is the way the Berez Lilly attacks. It moves very slowly, only moves 5 feet, climbs 5 feet, and it's just looking for things to eat. Now it has a multi-attack, and the way the multi-attack works is like this. So the Berez Lilly can only grapple one creature at a time. It has a 20-foot reach. If it's successfully grappled, its second attack is going to, and you're going to think of playing this as a lily. It's just trying to eat. It's successfully grappled a creature. If there's no other creatures around, it's going to use one of the little flowers at the end of its vines to put to sleep what it's captured. If the creature's trying to struggle, it's going to put it to sleep. Its second attack could be, if there's another creature attacking it, it could try to put that one to sleep, or use its second grappling vine as just a bludgeoning attack and not grapple. So it can use its grappling vine without the grapple feature to attack. Now, you remember this is 20 foot, these vines are reaching out by 20 foot. When the grappled creature, each turn it's going to be pulling, it pulls the grappled creature 5 feet each turn. Once the grappled creature gets within 5 feet of this swamp lily, it's going to use both of its actions. It takes 2 actions to swallow. Imagine it's grabbing all its vines and it's lifting the creature to put it into its, whatever plant orifice thing right here. And in there, it's going to take the swallow action. The swallow action uses both actions. I should change that to 2 actions. In fact, I should do that. It takes 2 actions. Let's do that. It takes 2 action. Activation cost is 2. I didn't do that, and it's done now. I'll make sure to do that. Get that squared away. It's going to use 2 actions to swallow. So using all its vines to swallow. If you are swallowed, what happens here is you're going to take 3d6 worth of acid damage. You're swallowed whole in there. Now you get to make, when it's trying to swallow you, let me get rid of this and do this. When it tries to swallow you, you make a strength save. So imagine now if you're awake, if you're out, you don't get to make the strength save. But if you're getting pulled in and all of a sudden it's making its action to try to pull it in, you can make a strength DC save of 14. This doesn't get you out of the grapple, but it keeps you, imagine you're trying to fight from getting in this mouth and you're, pushing these tendrils away, these grappling things. You're fighting a DC 14 strength check to avoid being swallowed if you're awake. Otherwise, you're going to take the damage, and here's the damage here. It's 10 damage, 3d6 acid damage, and now you're inside the creature. All right. It has the sleep spores, as I said. The sleep spores operate exactly the same way. They have a 5-foot radius. It's just a little flower. Imagine a little bit of the flower just, on you when you're grappled. It's only trying to get you, one little creature, not everything else. The grappling vines do some good damage. They do 2d6 plus 4. Remember, it can use 1. If it misses a grapple in the first one, it's going to try again with the second one. That'll be the second attack. So, imagine trying to roleplay this plant. It's just trying to eat. That's what it's trying to do. So that's how its actions are going to respond, is trying to eat and swallow a creature. That's what it's motivated to do. So that's the Berez Lilly here. Again, you notice how they work synergistically. There's a swamp spore next to it. If the swamp spore next to it, sets off one of its, boom, right around it, every creature around this thing has got to roll a constitution check. And that's why the Berez Lilly slowly crawls near these swamp spores, because it's putting creatures in the swamp to sleep and it's eating them. Now, the only thing that's impervious to the sleep spores are obviously these mushroom people over here that are coming here to collect the swamp spores. The undead are not affected by the swamp spores, but Barovian witches, other living creatures would be affected by the swamp spores as well. So this is a really fun one. I really like it. It has a lot of synergy going on through here. A lot of these are not active until the players get close to it, which is really, really cool. So this is a fun, really like this swamp encounter here. Let's clear it out. Let's roll up the next one here. Hit delete. Let me get rid of the swamp spore. Psh. Okay. Let's go to, what was the next one? So that was the Berez Lilly. We got a dead body in the swamp. Let's check this out. This is a fun one. We're going to run this one. Yep. And here's one of my Theater of the Mind maps. So we got the dead body here. Again, you're going to place all your player tokens down below here. You've got this map here. I'm going to get activated. You got a little different sound here. Got some flies, bubbling noise. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. This again is a active tile that you can click on, and this one runs from the body counters. And there's 3 things on this body. And what did I want to do? Again, each one of these encounters tells a little story. So the players can learn from this dead body floating in the swamp who this player was before from the things that they can find on the body. So there are 3 random items on the body. Let's go through what these 3 items are. We have a knife, kind of a nondescript looking knife. However, this knife is magic. Again, description is hidden. Players don't know about it. This magic knife will allow you get advantage on your initiative rolls, and will warn you again. You can't be surprised by anything within 30 feet. So it's a magic knife, warns you of danger, and you're going to get advantage on your initiative rolls. Let's see if you guys can figure out who the dead body was in real life. So now you know what the knife is. Let's check out. It's got this ring on it that you could find. The ring, again, you have to tune to it. It has 3 charges, expended charge. If you fail a dexterity saving throw while wearing it, you can use your reaction to expend one. So really awesome. Get to save, auto saves on your dexterity on a failed save. 1 to 3 expended charges per day at dawn. Pretty awesome. Last item is a pair of gloves. Gloves are invisible while worn. While wearing the gloves, you gain a +5 bonus to dexterity sleight of hand checks and dexterity checks for pickpocketing. I think by looking at the items we found, the knife give you initiative, the dexterity saves with the ring, the dexterity and the gloves. This obviously was a thief that had wandered into the swamp and had died. Now, again, you're going to roll off this, and your players are going to find, one item off of this dead body finds the gloves. Pretty cool. Again, I've kept all of this stuff hidden. I don't want the players in the descriptions to know what it is. Let the players do an Arcana check, an investigation check, a history check, figure it out. That's part of the fun, the excitement of finding these things. So you'll notice all these things are nondescript. It's just a dagger. Everything that I have, you're going to find says dagger. Your player's going to have to figure out what that dagger is. And when the player does, they can rename it if they want to, and what you have you. So let's go ahead and get rid of our dead body here. And we're going to go to the next encounter. The next encounter, is the Dead Knight. We have another one. This is another one of my swamp maps here. And there we go. There's the dead body. This one looks like a Dead Knight, and if we look at the items on the Dead Knight roll table, we got some cool knights. You find a dead-looking knight. He's wearing armor. We got some really cool stuff on this one. Let's go through what we've got here that I've added. We've got a plate of armor. This plate of armor, while wearing this armor, you gain a +1 to AC. You can understand and speak Abyssal. In addition, the armor's clawed gauntlets turn to unarmed strikes with your hands into magic weapons that deal slashing damage, +1 to attack rolls damage, do 1d8 worth of slicing damage. The armor's cursed. Again, I wouldn't tell the players they could speak Abyssal at all. I would just let them understand Abyssal for the first time. So I wouldn't even let them know that it does Abyssal. I would just say, hey, you have some armor. Oh, it looks really well made. It gives them a +1. When they put it on, I'd say all of a sudden you notice that there's these talons by the gauntlets. They look like they could throw down some serious damage in hand to hand. Let them do the Arcana check. Let them figure it out. The Abyssal thing, let somebody speak Abyssal to them and them understand it. Like, you understand what they just said. And you're like, whoa, how did that happen? The armor did it. Don't let them know it's cursed, right? When they go to use their weapons to use an attack and they get disadvantaged for the first time against a demon, I would also include Strahd in here. Against any demons or Strahd, they get disadvantage on their attacks, saving throws, and spells and special abilities against demons and against Strahd wearing this plate armor. They have to use Remove Curse. Don't tell them that. Let them figure that stuff out for themselves. That's what makes this stuff fun and exciting for me. And I think for your players, to figure out what's going on in here. The next one we have here is the Longsword. The Longsword, when you attack a creature with this magic weapon, roll a 20. It does an extra 3d6 of necrotic damage, provided that the target is not undead or a construct. You gain temporary hit points equal to the damage. So this is kind of like a blood-stealing, life-stealing longsword. It does an extra 3d6 of necrotic damage, and it sucks, and you gain those as temporary hit points. It's great. It's just not going to do anything against anything in this swamp, right? That's probably why this knight's dead, right? Because this swamp's loaded with undead stuff like the ghosts and the banshees and the ghouls. Zombies and skeletons. This story's not going to do anything to constructs or undead, so probably didn't help out this knight. But it's still a cool item. The next thing we have is the amulet here. The amulet, wearing this amulet, you're hidden from divination magic. You can't be targeted by such magic or perceived through magical scrying or sensors. Clearly, this amulet was probably worn by one of the Knights of the Silver Order from Argynvost who didn't want to be scryed on by Strahd. Clearly, that's what this amulet is. That's a really cool thing to have against Strahd. Next thing we have is the shield. The shield, again, is cursed. Again, you don't tell the players all this stuff. It needs to be attuned. While holding the shield, you have resistance to damage from ranged weapon attacks. Again, and all these things, I also turn the identified off. They don't know anything about this weapon. They got to figure it out, right? So in this shield, right, the shield gives them resistance damage from ranged attacks. So they have any range attacks, they get resistance. It's cursed though. So every time there's a range attack by a weapon, and they're close to against anybody 10 feet with them, those weapons are going to be hitting them. So they're going to be drawing fire on range attacks against any creature that's within 10 feet of them. They're going to be drawing in those attacks. Again, you're going to need remove curse to get rid of this cursed shield. But this is really fun. This is one of those elements that the player's going to find out during range attack. They're not going to know about it. So I like the curses to reveal themselves through their actions a lot more. Oh, the mace. This mace is really cool. Okay, when you hit a fiend or an undead with this weapon, magic weapon, the creature takes an extra 2d6 radiant damage. If the target has 10 hit points or fewer after taking this damage, it must succeed a Wisdom 15 saving throw or it's destroyed. I mean, this is just the mace of the undead. I mean, it's just laying down radiant damage on undead. I mean, this is a super weapon to have for Curse of Strahd. I mean, 260, an extra 2d6 radiant damage, target's down at 10 hit points, and it has to roll a wisdom save or it's dead. I mean, and if it succeeds the wisdom saving throw, if the target target has 10 hit points or fewer, it's going to run away being frightened. I mean, getting this weapon would be seriously awesome. I love this weapon. Okay, the next and final thing we have is a dagger that they'll find. The dagger is a magical dagger. On 20s, an attack roll, the magical weapon does an extra 2d6 of damage on here. So this is a weapon that does an extra 2d6 on a 20 roll. Again, players are only going to find one of these items in here. These are pretty cool items. You might, if maybe you can let them roll twice and find 2 items on there. It's really up to you. But again, there's some powerful stuff in here. Clearly, these items, the armor, the sword, the mace, all these things must have belonged to a knight of the Order of the Cerebral Dragon who didn't make it out of the swamp. It could have been here for a long time. If you look at this image here, he doesn't look so good. He looks a little kind of rusted out laying here in the swamp. Not so good. Okay, let's check out the next one. Let me move this one here, and we're going to go to the next one. By the way, these are all time-stamped down below, so you can go ahead and jump ahead. Okay, I call this like the big mosquito. I should call this a big mosquito encounter because that's what it is. This is pretty good. I like this one too. Okay, so the mosquitoes. These are these giant stirges, or whatever you call them, stirges or whatever. I see them as giant mosquitoes. So I would put my players smack dab in the middle, and you get all of these nasty things trying to suck their blood, right? They got low hit points. They're just flying up. They got this feature. They're like giant swamp mosquitoes. I mean, they're just nasty, right? And just give the players a hard time. Now, this map has got some synergistic encounters as well. We've got the spawn, swamp spores. We've got the violent fungus that moves 5 feet here. But hidden up here in this tree, if the players get over close to this, maybe they're trying to get away from here, you can turn on the giant assassin vine. Now, it doesn't move very fast. It only moves 5 feet, but it has these vines that can constrict, and it has these entangling vines around the base of it. So it's going to tangle up this creature. I would trigger this assassin vine only if the players got within maybe 5 feet of it. If they move over close to it, I would turn it on and bring it back into the combat encounter. Otherwise, he's in the combat encounter. I just keep him invisible. You also have in here, I have some spiders in here in some of the trees. And then we have the swamp ooze. I keep the swamp ooze in the kind of the water area of the swamp. The swamp ooze is an ooze. It doesn't move very fast. It has this tack. It does this acid damage, but it also corrodes the metal. perhaps that night where you saw some corrosion on his metal ran into one of these swamp oozes here. So these swamp oozes will corrode metal, sort of like a gray ooze. They're just a reskinned one, and they just, they're kind of nasty. So I've got a couple of those in there. I wouldn't have them coming up on the land unless the players get edged to the water, then they come up, or if they get hit by one of these things. So you've got these nasty bloodsuckers with this giant vine that can attack, and you've got 3 of these swamp oozes in here. All right, let's clear this one out. You see, hopefully I'm demonstrating on how these are synergistic. The next one we have is what I call the Silent Swamp. This is an encounter which the players will have to trigger as well. What you have here, I put the players in the middle. There's a bunch of trees in the swamp, and the trees are all hidden. I wouldn't activate the trees until the players get close to one. So within 10 feet of the tree, one of the trees awakens, and then you get into a combat encounter. At the end of each round, I would awaken the next tree that's closest to it. The end of the next round, I'd awaken and bring in the next tree, and then the next one. So you eventually going to have 4 trees moving in, surrounding the player, right? The trees, these awakened trees do slam attacks. They got some hit points. They're pretty big. ACs are 13. They start swarming around. Now you've got one thing up in this tree here. You have what I've created that is called the acid spider. It lives in the swamp. You're going to go 5 hit points, no big deal. Well, you're going to see why this thing is a big deal. So as the players maybe be trying to get away from the trees, the acid spider has an acid spray. It spits to defend itself. It spits this acid 30 feet out, 5 feet wide. Each creature in that line makes it 13 dexterity 13, or take 3d6 worth of acid damage. So this spider sitting up in this tree is going to be spitting acid down to any of the players that get within within maybe 10 feet of this tree. The spider's up there just spitting down acid on them, and he's up in the tree there. So you got some things going on. Again, you've got these swamp spores. You don't want to run into those because the trees will start, coming in on them. The other thing I've added in this one is you've got some giant toads. I got 3 giant toads. Again, I would not have these giant toads start swarming in. The whole idea of the silent swamp encounter is the players get close to the trees slowly move in on the players. If the players move out and move out of this kind of island area into the water area, then you have the toads are going to kind of attack in the water area here, and then you've got the one spider up in the tree. So these aren't supposed to be swarms and hordes on the player. You want to role play each one of these counters that fit kind of within the narrative and within the, what you're trying to do here is to use the word verisimilitude. You're trying to create a realism within the fictional element. Players are there. They see some of those swamp spores. They walk around. They get close to the tree. The tree starts moving and attacking them. Another tree notices, slowly wakes, attack another one. Oh, there's a spider up in the tree. Spits some acid on you to try to defend itself. You're down, getting into the water area. The toads see you as food. You're thinking in terms of these monsters, when to make them non-invisible. You're going to have the full combat encounter run, but when it's the toad's turn and the toad is invisible down here, you might just go, I'm going to roll a 1d4. It's figure north, south, east, or west, and just move it a couple of notches. Oh, it moved in this direction. Maybe it's looking for something. You're going to move them how you think these things will move. Oh, and then it spots one. If it's in a line of sight of one, then what you're going to do is you're going to make it visible that turn. Say, oh, just make it visible. Let the players notice it, right? You could roll a perception check. Maybe the toads moved over here, and you tell the players, roll a perception check. You hear a splash in the water coming from this area. If they go investigate, then you reveal the toad. So you don't have to show everything all the time. You can slow play this out, make it more of an encounter that is enriching into their environment. Okay, we cleared this one. We've got the swamp spiders. We got 3 more here. We've got the swamp spiders. I like this one a lot. This is another one that's really fun. So we've got these spiders here. And the way this one works is we've got this big spider in the middle. She is the mother spider. And the swamp spider has a special feature, automatic feature on it. So the swamp spider, it's a giant spider that's been reskinned as a swamp spider with a new feature. So it has this web. If it actually gets any players caught in its web, what happens is a special automatic reaction. The giant spider is carrying her baby young spiders on her back. If a creature is within 10 feet of the giant spider and is caught in its web, the baby spiders will swarm over the creature caught in the web and immediately make an attack. You're going to grab the swarm spiders. You're going to put it on the player. It gets a free attack that round on that player. Then you're going to go, you're going to make it visible, and then it's part of the normal initiative order. But those group of babies are just going to swarm over onto that creature that's kind of caught in the web, and now it's covered in baby spiders, and they're just fucking chewing at you, biting you. It gets a free attack that round. So that's what the giant spider does. You've got some swarms of spiders up in this tree here. In addition, you got to be careful because, again, hidden in the swamp, behind some bushes and behind some trees, are these spores. And if the spores knock you out, the swamp spider, synergistically likes to be around these spores because it might knock you out, and then it could put a web on you and have you for dinner for its babies, right? In addition, you got some acid spiders in some of the trees. And I just dropped another Berez Lilly way over here in the corner. If you run in this direction, there's Berez Lilly. There's also one of the swamp oozes in here as well. So this one, can be kind of deadly. You want to get out of this place. My idea is the players start somewhere in the center of the map, and they want to kind of move off the map. I would have the goal is for the players to not kill everything on the map. Is they're in this location, they have to move north, east, south, or west, move to the edge of the map. As soon as all players reach to the edge of the map, even though all the monsters might have been not killed, the encounter ends. They're trying to escape. You want the players the ability to escape the encounter. That's an important factor here. Let's go ahead and clear this off. All right. Oh, I think I still got some spiders down here. There we go. There's another big spider. I had a big swamp spider down there. They got two really cool ones coming up here in the end. The troll hunt. I really like this troll hunt a lot too. This is another really cool one. So the bullywog are hunting a troll. Be careful, don't get caught in the middle of the battle. If the bullywog find the players, he'll try to capture the players and tell their goddess, the swamp fae, Baba Lysaga. So let's talk a little bit about this counter, because this plays into Baba Lysaga, and it's also referenced into the upcoming Fae quest, which I'm going to be releasing here. So the bullywog here, we're going to zoom in and take a look at the bullywog, were created by Baba Lysaga. They actually serve her, and they go to the swamp, the stone circle in the swamp, and they pray towards the swamp fae, which is Baba Lysaga. Now, the bullywog here, we have two kinds. We have just a normal little bullywog fighter. They have some multi-attacks. They have some interesting things about them, but they're accompanied with a croaker. He's kind of like the leader of the little hunters here. And the croaker has some special features. It can give the 10 hit points to all the bullywogs within 30 feet of it. It has the ability to do this kind of croaking, marshy doom song to do, so anything around it has to roll a wisdom save, or they're going to take some psychic damage. So it has some special features. So there's one croaker here with this little group hunting, and there's another group with this croaker hunting. And they are looking for, by the way, they are affected by the sleeping spore. They need to avoid the sleeping spore. They're looking for this bad boy right here. This is a swamp troll. And the bullywog do not like the swamp troll. And so they're hunting this swamp troll down here. The players are going to be right here caught in the middle. Now, this is one of those combat encounters that might be one of those, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If you play the swamp troll comes out, the bullywog will fight the swamp troll along with you. They'll ignore you until they defeat the swamp troll. That's their priority target. After that, they're not going to try to kill you. They want to capture you. They're going to try to capture you, take you back to their village, and turn you over to Baba Lysaga. You're not welcome here. They know you're an outsider. So they're hunting the troll, and then they'll kill the troll, or try to kill the troll, and then fight you. You got to be careful because these swamp spores here, these other things are going to naturally try to attack you. They can put the bullywog to sleep as well. So the bullywog's got to be careful of them. So does a swamp troll. Swamp troll can be knocked out by one of these things. So this is a really fun, you can have a lot of fun with this encounter. Let me clear this one off. We got our last one here. This is another one where I've created a special creature for this called the vampire blood flower. There's a little story with this vampire blood flower. It usually sits peaceful by the waters. Small creatures come close to the flowers. To the top, the tendrils from underneath appear to grasp and suck the blood from the small creatures. So that's what the blood flower does. It's right here, sitting along the edge. It has these tendrils. So the flowers on top, imagine the flowers on top attracting creatures to it, and then the tendrils reach up and they suck the blood from the creatures trying to eat from the flowers that it's attracted to. Imagine the flowers give off some kind of scent that's attracted. Well, it does, because legends have it that the swamp mounds is sort of like a shambling mound. It's a bunch of stuff from the swamp, and it kind of gathers together moss and swamp and ooze, and it almost resembles, when it's moving, a kind of a humanoid beast. It loves to devour the flowers of the vampire blood flowers. So these swamp mounds hunt these things out, and they just start eating in them. And there is legendary stories that you could say, here. Swamp mounds very fond of the flowers and loves eating them. There have been stories of violent battles between the vampire flowers and the swamp mounds, and either side yielding a sight to behold as these two large swamp beast creatures attempt to devour each other. So that's what's happening here. You've got these two swamp mounts, one here, moving in on this vampire blood vine, right? So the vampire blood vine, this is how it works. It's pretty cool. So it's got this multi-attack feature. So at the beginning of the combat encounter, what you're going to do is you're going to roll to determine how many attacks the blood flower gets with its blood vines. So you roll the 1d6, and it has 5. So 5 tendrils appear. Each tendril can suck the blood, right, of that, and it can reach out. It makes a grapple. It tries to grapple a creature, and then once it grapples a creature, it causes 1d4 plus 2 piercing damage as the tendrils that have like little suckers try to suck the blood out of. Let's just zoom in and take a look at this beast here. Tries to suck the blood out of it. Now what happens is, this is really cool. Imagine this. So this the blood-sucking tendrils have grappled you. So it's and you failed the DC check on the grapple. You failed the DC 12, right? So here you go. You failed your DC check. You're going to take piercing damage as the tendrils sucking the blood out of you. However, it has 4 more tendrils. So if it's successful grappling a creature, the other tendrils quickly wrap around you, and each one of those do 1d4 plus 2 attacks. So you're going to get 4 more attacks if you fail. So there's 6. There's another 4. There's another 6. And there's another 4. You're going to take 10, 24 damage. Now, you can see now why these swamp mounds and these vampire blood flowers, get really violent with each other, because these tendrils come out and they just start lashing on the, and doing all these little tiny attacks as the swamp mound is just trying to devour the flowers and eat this thing. It's just probably getting torn apart by it. Now, the tendrils themselves can be destroyed, right? You can break these tendrils. They can be broken or destroyed. And what happens is the end of each round, the flower tries to grow another tendril. So the start of the next turn, the vampire will grow another tendril. So these tendrils can be destroyed. You can break off a tendril and destroy it. It'll try to grow another tendril out. So the max it'll ever have is 6. So at the start of each turn, if it already has 6, it doesn't roll. But if it doesn't have 6, it rolls a 1d4, and up to 4 more tendrils come out to do it. So it's constantly growing. These tendrils are growing out as they're getting smashed and broken off to suck more blood. Maximum up to 6 tendrils. This is really cool. So I mean, if the swamp mound or you see this thing, swamp mounds will attack you too, and so will this thing if you get close. I mean, this could be a 3-way battle. It could be crazy. I threw some spiders in here. I've got a couple of these sleeping swamp spores in here. You can go ahead and populate these things the way that you would like. What's really nice is that the quick encounters do it for you. Now, just a quick review. We've got 4 ruin battle maps. We've got 2 ruin Theater of the Mind maps. We've got 2 swamp battle maps, 2 Theater of the Mind swamp maps in here. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff. Let's just take a look at these ruin maps. We've got this ruin in here with a nice lighting. We've got this lighting over here for the pixies. We've got the other ruin map. This is, and if you want to change this up, there's a spider web. You can put one of the phase spiders in here. We've got this another gorgeous ruined battle map. So we got 4 gorgeous ruined battle maps that are all kind of different. They're Theater of the Mind ones that I made. Again, they're not as nice as James RPG art, but you've got a couple of them with some lighting effects here that you're going to have the items, the tiles populate on them. We got our 2 swamp battle maps that are really nice. We got this one here with some water, and I put some lighting on each one of these. I always like to have a little bit of lighting on them so it's not total fog of war. Maybe some light is piercing through there. And here's another one. So we've got those, and then our Theater of the Mind maps. We have this one here and this one here. So we got 2 Theater of the Mind swamp battle maps as well. Last but not least, if you do run into Baba Lysaga's hut, and I'll just bring this player away. Oh, I just hit that. Let's see if I can get him over here.
I see.
There you go.
The next ingredient has arrived. With you, my smell no longer deprive. Your youth and flesh, the only price to ensure me of eternal life.
So when you do find Baba Lysaga's hut, it will automatically spawn or bring up this Theater of the Mind map. You can bring your players in and drag them along the bottom. You can hear the little, I have that automatic sound of the witch play when that happens here. So the tile of Baba Lysaga is an active tile, just like the other tiles. And just like I said, I would have it start here. After each encounter, slowly move it. Maybe by the time they find it, could be over here or somewhere else. Anyway, that is the Berez or Swamp Hex Crawl random encounters. We've got a lot of new creatures here that you saw that I've added. The Eye of Horror. We've got the swamp spores, the vampire blood flower, the mist, swamp mist, a bunch of fun new creatures in here, a bunch of new magical items in here. Of course, all of these encounters that we've created, a guide to doing all these encounters, including the roll tables and a bunch of sounds. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It took me a long time to put this together, figure out the mechanics to make all of this work. Again, this is available to my Patreon members, or you can make it yourself using those modules that I talked about along with DMND maps. Thank you, and until next time, well, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and the bell icon if you did like this, so you can be lit up. Until next time, may all your rolls be critically successful.